Welcome to The Real Review on Damn Good Radio, and I am your host, Warbucks. The movie we are diving into today is the Super Mario Galaxy movie 2026. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, connoisseurs of the silver screen and late-night highway cruisers tuning in across the airwaves, we are in the midst of a cinematic renaissance. It is the year 2026. The landscape of blockbuster filmmaking has shifted, morphed, and evolved in ways that the critics of yesteryear could never have possibly prophesied. We have officially entered the golden age of the video game adaptation. But today, we are not just talking about a mere adaptation. We are talking about a cosmic event, an astronomical alignment of pop culture, nostalgia, and sheer, unadulterated visual spectacle. When the first Mario movie dropped a few years back, it shattered the earth. It was a seismological event at the box office. But the anticipation for this sequel, the sheer, palpable, electric hype surrounding the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it has been deafening. The directors knew they could not just give us another run-of-the-mill romp through the Mushroom Kingdom. They needed to elevate. They needed to reach for the stars, literally and figuratively. And what they delivered, well, grab a drink, sink into your favorite armchair, and let me paint the cosmos for you. Because this film is a sprawling, audacious, heavily layered tapestry that demands our absolute, undivided attention. Let us move into the first phase of our broadcast tonight, the full experience, the thoughts, the standouts, the meat and potatoes of this cinematic feast. The film opens not with our titular plumbers, but in the vast, inky, breathtaking expanse of the cosmos. The cinematography here is nothing short of masterful. The lighting is a masterclass in chiaroscuro, contrasting the cold, terrifying void of deep space with the warm, comforting, bioluminescent glow of the Comet Observatory. We are introduced to Princess Rosalina. Now, Rosalina has always been a figure of melancholic grace in the lore, and the film captures the emotional weight of her adoptive motherhood over the Lumas with an almost Shakespearean gravity. But peace is fleeting. Enter Bowser Jr. This is not just a bratty kid in a clown car, folks. The voice acting and the character animation elevate him to a genuinely formidable yet tragically misguided antagonist. He kidnaps Rosalina in a sequence that is chaotic, terrifying, and visually arresting, bathed in harsh, violent reds and purples that clash violently against Rosalina's serene cyan palette. His motivation, he plots to drain her celestial power, the literal power to create life, to fuel a universe-destroying cannon. And why? In honor of his father, Bowser. You remember the last film, right? Bowser was defeated by Mario and Luigi and humiliatingly shrunken by Princess Peach. Bowser Jr. is driven by a toxic cocktail of filial piety, abandonment issues, and megalomania. It is heavy stuff for what is ostensibly a family film. In a desperate, heart-wrenching final act of defiance, Rosalina sends a solitary Luma plummeting toward the Mushroom Kingdom. The sound design in this sequence, the roaring friction of atmospheric re-entry giving way to the gentle, whimsical whines of Peach's domain is exquisite. This brave little Luma enlists the help of Peach and Toad, setting the narrative gears into motion. Meanwhile, our boys in blue and red, Mario and Luigi, are dispatched to investigate a disturbance. Where do they go? The sun-baked, intensely saturated desert town of Tostarena. The environmental rendering of Tostarena is a visual feast. The heat distortion ripples across the screen like a mirage. It is here that the brothers meet a character whose introduction has been clamored for since the dawn of this franchise, Yoshi. But this is not just any dinosaur. He had hatched in Brooklyn, a brilliant narrative thread tying back to the brothers' origins, and was pursued back to his home world after clumsily, yet hilariously, breaking a priceless dinosaur skeleton in a museum. This flashback sequence is a riot, directed with a frenetic, kinetic energy that evokes the best of Buster Keaton. In the absence of Peach and Toad, who are off dealing with the cosmic crisis, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi take up the mantle of protectors of the Mushroom Kingdom. And in a twist that is both narratively bold and comedically gold, they attempt to rehabilitate the shrunken Bowser. They treat him like an errant pet or a stubborn toddler. The juxtaposition of Bowser's booming, tyrannical ego trapped in a pint-sized, squeaky body is comedy perfection. The vocal performance here is a tightrope walk between genuine menace and pathetic hilarity, but the tranquility does not last. Bowser Jr., wielding a spaceship of terrifying scale, descends and literally lifts Peach's castle into space in a desperate bid to free his father. The gravity mechanics, the debris floating into the stratosphere, the sheer scale of the set piece, it is phenomenal. A brutal, high-stakes battle ensues on the ascending mass of earth and stone between the brothers, Yoshi and Bowser Jr. The skirmish causes the spaceship to falter, dropping the castle into the Honey Hive galaxy. The transition from the cold vacuum of space to the warm, amber, golden hour hues of the Honey Hive is jarring in the best possible way. The sound design shifts from the vacuum-sealed hum of thrusters to the heavy, sticky, buzzing ambiance of giant bees. Here, a critical character moment occurs. Bowser, cunning and manipulative, goads Mario into attacking him. The resulting kinetic energy unshrinks him. He is back to his colossal, terrifying self. But instead of immediately attacking, he kindly, almost gentlemanly, offers to be arrested by the heroes in exchange for the safety of the brothers and Yoshi. It is a moment of shocking paternal and adversarial respect, but before the deal is struck, he is abruptly abducted by his son, a son he has not seen in years. The emotional beat here lands surprisingly hard. Now let us talk about the Gateway Galaxy detour. Toad, ever the tragicomedy relief, has his backpack stolen by a thieving monkey, Ukiki. A chase ensues that leads us into the neon-drenched, high-stakes, hyper-stimulated environment of a cosmic casino. The lighting here is an assault on the senses in the most delightful way, pulsing neon pinks, electric blues, and gold coins catching the synthetic light. Peach, shedding her damsel in distress trope entirely, goes full film noir detective. She interrogates Wart. Yes, Wart, the owner of the casino. Wart is rendered as a massive, intimidating mob boss amphibian. The tension in this scene is palpable. Under Peach's intense, icy interrogation, Wart folds, revealing Rosalina's location, the space junk galaxy. Our heroes eventually reunite. Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, and Toad. But they need transportation. Enter the pilot, Fox McCloud. We will get deeper into the casting later, but the swagger, the absolute bravado of this introduction is spectacular. Fox transports them, but they are ambushed by Bowser Jr. The ensuing dogfight is a dazzling display of aerial choreography that ends in a catastrophic crash landing in Fossil Falls. The cascading waterfalls, the primordial mist, the hyper-realistic prehistoric flora, it is breathtaking. But Bowser Jr. is relentless. Armed with a super scope, he turns Mario and Luigi into babies. It is here we see the emotional core of the villains. Bowser expresses profound regret over double-crossing the brothers earlier, but seeing his son's ruthless efficiency, he is inspired to return to his old villainous ways simply to bond with his estranged child. It is a twisted, darkly comedic, yet deeply human exploration of fatherhood. Yoshi, stepping up as the ultimate hero, finds the Super Scope, rescues the infant brothers from a beautifully rendered, terrifyingly realistic Tyrannosaurus Rex and restores their ages. Luigi, in a moment of clutch bravery, alerts the Lumas. They are picked up by the Comet Observatory. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the narrative crescendo. Peach discovers she shares the exact same cosmic powers as Rosalina. Why? Because they are sisters, long-lost sisters, born from the very stardust of the cosmos itself. Rosalina had sent an infant Peach to the Mushroom Kingdom years ago to protect her from an unidentified looming attacker. The emotional resonance of this scene, scored with a sweeping, tear-jerking orchestral arrangement, recontextualizes the entire Mario mythos. The climax is a masterstroke of pacing. Fox, Toad, and the Lumas pilot the entire Comet Observatory to launch the Core 4 onto the newly constructed, terrifyingly bleak planet Bowser. Mario and Peach confront Bowser in a beautifully staged dual combat sequence. Mario, in an homage to their very first encounter, drops Bowser into the searing lava moat below. But we are not done. The lava boils, the embers fly, and Bowser rises as Dry Bowser, a towering skeletal nightmare bathed in the eerie, glowing orange of the magma. Luigi and Yoshi arrive, and what follows is a brilliantly choreographed, power-up fueled extravaganza. Fire flowers, ice flowers, starmen. It is a kaleidoscope of visual effects that never loses track of the emotional stakes. They defeat the Bowsers. Peach, utilizing her newly discovered Stardust powers, revives a dying Rosalina. Together, the sisters perform an act of cosmic terraforming, transforming the desolate planet Bowser into a lush, beautiful, thriving world. The denouement gives us the heroes, Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, helping the sisters, Toads, and Lumas rebuild Peach's ruined castle. Peach kisses Mario, a tender, earned moment of gratitude. Fox escorts the Bowsers to an intergalactic prison before warping back to his home galaxy. And back in the Gateway Galaxy, we get a delightful cameo of Princess Daisy, who fiercely prevents Yukiki from committing another robbery, setting the stage for what is to come. Now, listeners, let us dim the studio lights. Let us lean in. It is time for Phase 3 of the broadcast, the philosophical core, the message. There is a central critique surrounding this film that I must address. And in addressing it, we unlock the very soul of what this movie is trying to say. I have heard the murmurs. I have read the think pieces from the upper crust cinematic elite. It feels like there was too much going on. We did not get enough story about Peach and her big sister. And perhaps the most damning critique, this movie did not really focus on the galaxy all that much. It easily could have been called Super Mario Bros. 2. Let me tell you why this critique, while factually observant, entirely misses the sociological and philosophical underpinnings of the director's vision. Yes, the film spends a massive amount of runtime grounded in environments like Tostarena, Fossil Falls, and the Mushroom Kingdom. It pulls heavily from 3D titles like Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario 3D World. But why? Why ground a film titled Galaxy in the terrestrial dirt, sand, and grass of these worlds? Because, my friends, the film is exploring the dichotomy between the macrocosm of the universe and the microcosm of our earthly existence. Rosalina represents the divine, the celestial, the untouchable cosmos. Peach represents the grounded, the mortal, the tactile reality. By revealing them as sisters born of the same stardust, the film is making a profound philosophical statement. The divine and the mortal are inextricably linked. We are, as Carl Sagan famously said, made of star stuff. To focus entirely on the floating planetoids of the galaxy would be to sever the tie between the heavens and the earth. The film requires us to see the dirt of Fossil Falls to appreciate the pristine starlight of the Comet Observatory. Furthermore, let us examine the theme of fatherhood and legacy through the lens of Bowser and Bowser Jr. This is a tragedy of cyclical violence and generational trauma. Bowser Jr. is building a universe-destroying weapon not out of malice, but out of a desperate, twisted love for his father. Bowser, a tyrant, is moved to villainy not by ambition, but by a desire to bond with his estranged son. It is a terrifying reflection of how toxic behaviors are passed down through generations. The film asks a harrowing question. How far will we go? How much destruction will we wreak simply to earn the love of our parents? And amidst this heavy thematic lifting, the film never loses its light, effervescent humor. The nostalgia factor is weaponized brilliantly. For those of you who grew up on the Super Nintendo or the N64 or playing ROMs on a dusty PC in your high school computer lab, this film is a time machine. The seamless transition from 2D side-scrolling homages to massive 3D environments is a metaphor for our own coming of age. We started in a flat binary world of black and white, left and right. As we grew, our perspectives widened, our world gained depth, a Z-axis of moral complexity. The film physically manifests this transition. Now, we cannot dissect this film without talking about the voice acting, which serves as the anchor for these heavy themes. Childish Gambino as Yoshi, let that sink in. Donald Glover, a Renaissance man of our era, a musical genius, a cinematic auteur. When I found out he was voicing the iconic dinosaur, I was floored. And what he brings to the role is a nuanced, soulful, incredibly cool energy. Yoshi is no longer just a mount. He is a fully realized character with agency, a Brooklyn backstory, and a rhythmic, almost lyrical cadence to his dialogue. Gambino infused the character with an undeniable swagger. And then there is the world building. Oh, the world building. I have been preaching this from my pulpit in this radio booth for years. I said it when the Pokemon movie dropped. I said it when the Sonic movies shattered expectations. I said it during the first Mario film. They are building the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe. The introduction of Fox McCloud, voiced with absolute dripping charisma by Glenn Powell, is the undeniable proof. Powell plays Fox with the reckless abandon of a Top Gun pilot mixed with the weary cynicism of a bounty hunter. It is a super dope addition to the film, yes, but it is also a declaration of intent by the studio. They are weaving together a tapestry of interconnected narratives. We are witnessing the construction of a modern monomyth. By bringing in elements from the Smash Brothers roster, the filmmakers are creating a shared cultural mythology that mirrors the interconnected cinematic universes of the superhero genre, but with a vibrancy and a whimsical earnestness that those films often lack. If you are a fan of this universe, you must stay through the credits. The mid-credits scene setting up a standalone Star Fox movie, I am already buying my ticket, and the post-credits sequence formally introducing Princess Daisy as Luigi's fiery, competent love interest, it is a promise of what is to come. They intentionally held her back from the main plot of this film to ensure she gets the spotlight she deserves in the next installment. It is an exercise in narrative restraint. But now we enter my favorite segment of the show, Phase 4, the obsessive deep dive, the minutiae. The microscopic details that the casual viewer stuffing their face with buttered popcorn completely missed. This is the insider secrets portion of the broadcast, folks. Grab a notepad. Let us talk about the super scope that Bowser Jr. wields. If you look incredibly closely during the slow-mo sequence in Fossil Falls, engraved on the plastic barrel of the weapon is a serial number, SNES 1992. The exact year the peripheral was released for the Super Nintendo. It is a blink and you miss it stroke of genius. And Wart's Casino in the Gateway Galaxy, a treasure trove of Easter eggs. The slot machines in the background do not feature cherries or sevens. They feature Subcon turnips and Phantom masks. A direct homage to the American release of Super Mario Bros. 2. The jazz band playing in the corner of the casino. The stand-up bassist is wearing a red bow tie and glasses, a subtle nod to the legendary Nintendo composer Koji Kondo. Let us discuss costume design. When Peach dons her spacesuit for the final act, the fabric is not just a flat white and pink. If you look at the texture mapping in the IMAX format, the suit features a microscopic woven houndstooth pattern that perfectly mimics the 8-bit sprite grid of her original NES appearance. It is a subliminal texturing that grounds her modern 3D design in her 1985 origins. During the flashback to Yoshi's birth in Brooklyn, The museum he trashes has an exhibit in the background labeled Dino Hatton, a brilliant cheeky nod to the much maligned yet cult classic 1993 live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie. And for the astronomers out there, when Wart reveals Rosalina's location in the space junk galaxy, the star map projected on the casino table is not random. The constellation matches the exact star layout of the World 1 map from the 2007 Wii game. Finally, listen to the audio mix during the T-Rex chase in Fossil Falls. When Yoshi grabs the Super Scope, the sound effect of him leaping into the air is layered over a reversed, pitch-shifted audio clip of the Nintendo 64 console startup hum. It is an auditory subliminal message that triggers a Pavlovian nostalgia response in the viewer's brain. Absolute brilliance by the sound department, which brings us inevitably to Phase 5, the final verdict. I am officially awarding the Super Mario Galaxy movie a popcorn bucket score of 4 out of 5. Why not a perfect 5? As I mentioned, the film is incredibly ambitious, almost to a fault. The sheer volume of plot threads, Rosalina's origins, Bowser's rehabilitation, Yoshi's backstory, the introduction of Fox McCloud, the casino heist, the terraforming of Planet Bowser, it creates a narrative density that occasionally sacrifices intimate character moments for massive spectacle. The critique that we needed more time simply breathing in the lore of Peach and her sister is valid. It is a crowded film, but a 4 out of 5 is a mark of overwhelming excellence. I highly recommend this movie. It is a great communal watch in theaters. The jokes land. The action is kinetic and visceral. It balances the tightrope of being an excellent, engaging movie for children while acting as a profound, nostalgic, and emotionally resonant experience for the adults who grew up clutching those plastic controllers. When you compare this to other films in the video game genre, even the stellar Sonic the Hedgehog 3 or the gritty reboot of Detective Pikachu, Mario Galaxy stands head and shoulders above them in sheer visual artistry and world-building ambition. It is, without a doubt, in the top movies of 2026 so far. It expands the world, it honors its roots, and it points to a brilliantly bright future for cinema. And that, my friends, is the final word. You have been listening to The Real Review on Damn Good Radio. I am your host, Warbucks. As you step out into the world tonight, whether you are navigating the neon-lit streets of your own personal gateway galaxy or just trying to rebuild your own castle one brick at a time, remember to look up at the stars. We are all made of the same stardust. We are all part of the same grand, sprawling universe. Keep your eyes on the silver screen, keep your ears locked to this dial, and above all else, stay sophisticated, stay edgy, and stay damn good.